everyone, my name is Ani Baker, and if this is your first time tuning in, I'm a teacher turned documentary filmmaker, and this is episode 10 of the series Around the World in 2020, a project born of my curiosity about the world and my exhaustion over the American news cycle this year. Today we are going to Russia, a country heavily entwined with the American news cycle since Trump took office, and it was very enlightening to just talk to somebody about what's going on there directly. You're about to meet Evgeniya, who talks to us about what COVID life has been like there, mask mandates, how the Black Lives Matter movement has reached them, and she educates us a little bit about what's been going on in their government right now. Like, did you know that just this year, their constitution was rewritten to allow for Putin to be in power until 2036? We discussed that. Some other very troubling elements about the rewrite, and yes, don't worry, I asked her about her opinion of Donald Trump, so you'll get to hear that. And then we get personal, like Evgeniya's been working at home with her partner of 18 years, and she has learned to cross-stitch out of frame on Zoom work calls, which I love. And she has a really beautiful way of summing up the intense polarity of experiences of 2020 by saying that there were a lot of great small things and a lot of big bad things. I think that about sums it up. I'm very excited to give you this glimpse. Here is Around the World in 2020, St. Petersburg, Russia.
So Russia has a lot of regions, a bit like US. So we have some regions that have very different rules from like my region. My region is Northeast. And my city, St. Petersburg, is the second largest city in Russia. So it has its own little rules. Each governor of each region started imposing rules, and it was chaotic at first because nobody knew what's going to happen, and everybody looked for Moscow as an example, because we thought that what happens in Moscow will happen later in other regions. It did not. In Moscow they had like this electronic passes. You had a QR code on your phone. If you go outside, you have to get a pass. If somebody stops you on the street, you can show your QR code and they will let you go. In St. Petersburg, we thought they were going to impose some such rules, but they closed down pretty much everything, like stores, like restaurants, fast food chains, and we were not sure if our organization is going to close down. So I have to say that I work at Tinkoff. It's again, I don't think that there's something like that in US. It's a hybrid between a bank and an IT organization. So something between like, I don't remember any US banks, and not Google exactly, but like small, tiny Google. We have services like bank services, insurance services, travel, mobile services, everything delivered to you in your phone. I'm an HR manager. Again, not like a US HR manager. If you're interested, I'll tell you later, because our IT part is important to the story. We were not sure if we're gonna close down. It was again really chaotic first few weeks, so I've had to hire some people really fast because we're not sure if we're gonna close down, if the city is gonna close down. Nothing was, everything was up in the air.
Yeah.
So, and later there was not a law, not a decree, something like a decree from our Ministry of Work.
Okay.
Work that said that telecommunication companies and everything that looks from afar like a telecommunication company can still work. So we continued working. I'm in IT. I'm a bit privileged that way, so I'm just working from home since March. It's pretty okay. If we're talking about the country and the city, later on, our president had a few, he ordered I think that's the way to say it. That people with children will get some money from the government, not a lot by your standards, but a lot but by ours, and it's unprecedented for us to that government just gives money away like that. Businesses were not really supported. There are a few things that you can get from the government, but it's not like with Germany or our European countries. We fancy ourselves a European country. I don't know if anybody else thinks that way in the world, but we believe that we're partly European. There were other measures like higher pay for medical professionals. There's a saying in Russian that our laws are strict, but it evens out because you can just not follow them. So, and our constitution. Have you heard about our constitution?
Please tell me.
It's gonna be rewritten. Just before the pandemic, it was a bit hilarious because our government, it has a bit of a theatric value for me. So our first lady cosmonaut, Valentina Tereshkova, she's in government right now. And she got up and she said, so I think that Vladimir Putin is a great leader, and that Vladimir, in Russian you say Vladimir, and we want him to stay with us a bit longer. So I think that we should rewrite the constitution that way that our president is going to be president for a bit longer. Let's start from the beginning. Like, he never was a president.
To hold the presidential position for the first time because what he was before wasn't.
So he can't hold it another like 2 times or 3 times, and everybody clapped, and we started rewriting the constitution.
What?
Yeah, and it gets a bit worse because there are a lot of points in the constitution. Oh, I should say our constitution is not like yours. It's very young.
Still
no, yes.
But yeah, very good distinction. Okay.
So it's gonna say in the constitution that marriage is just between a man and a woman. We didn't have very good laws about LGBT before that, but now it's just like add insult to injury. There are other things about Russian language and about about not like beating your dog. I'll gather it simply, and other things. But I voted no just because I don't think that we should have the same guy up top for so long a time.
So, as somebody who does not agree with Putin's politics, how do you feel like he has handled the whole coronavirus pandemic?
In Russia, there is this joke, you can say it, usually in my circles, it's a joke. Pity that Stalin isn't here. Well, in this way, I'm bothered that Putin isn't Stalin in this way, because I thought that, okay, I live in a totalitarian country. There is a bit of bad things here, so I don't have honest journalism a lot, and my gay friends cannot marry, and economic is not so good because people are stealing from the economy and so on. But in a crisis, I should be okay because I live in a totalitarian country, and in crisis it fares better because there is a strict line of government, there is no dispute, and we can act swiftly. Can I curse?
Yes.
Fuck no. So,
right.
Came out on TV, and suddenly regions have a lot more freedom than before. We can choose what we do in this situation. There is no sweet federal answer to this. And first off, the vote for the constitution, it wasn't cancelled. It started, you remember, before the pandemic.
Right.
It was gonna happen, I believe, in April, but it wasn't cancelled, it was postponed.
Okay.
And it happened during the pandemic, and if you wanted to vote, you had to go out there, you have to vote in person, and so people won't be very afraid that everything goes bad. Our statistics are a bit false, so if you have to know how hard the epidemic really is, as you can see, I'm a bit of a statistic nerd. I had statistics in college, and so I have a bit of an idea what happens if you need to learn real statistics about the coronavirus in my city. So you have to Google added mortality, because if you look at the government reports, like city government reports, gonna say that there are like 300 cases, and they started going down just before the vote. It's so baffling. I don't know. And if you Google added mortality, you can see real deal. You should know that pretty much nobody wears a mask here.
I was gonna ask. Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
really, in St. Petersburg, in the places that I visit, pretty much nobody wears a mask. A lot of people don't really care. A lot of people don't really think it's serious enough. If you just go outside in the street, in the supermarket, like half the people gonna be wearing masks. Although you remember our laws are strict, you have to wear masks in public places, but just nothing happens if you don't.
Very interesting. Okay.
I should say it's a bit personal, but I've started taking antidepressants in December, I think. I think I'm faring a bit better because of them during the pandemic. So that helped me be more productive in a good way. First, when I started working from home, I was not very efficient. It was hard to have another routine, have another room around you. My husband also worked from home. It was a bit hard to work together, to not just that we butted heads, but it's hard to organize two workspaces in one room apartment. But we managed. We have been together since I was 14, so it's gonna be 18 years this November. Yeah, I like telling people that. You understand? So we have something akin to WhatsApp in Russia, Telegram. It's encrypted messenger. And pretty much everyone and their uncle have a channel on Telegram, and it's used as an information output, I think. So a lot of government facilities have their Telegram channels. So I've read official St. Petersburg Telegram channel. Well, it was my primary source of information.
Tell me, I want to know about what police brutality looks like where you are.
Before, I think the year 2010 or something, the police were called the militia, and they were during the Soviet Union and so on. The policeman was not your friend. The policeman is the friend of the government. If somebody steals my phone, I'm not gonna go to the police because it's more of a hassle than anything. They're not gonna find my phone. I'm gonna be there for 4 hours. On the priority list, there's the police reform, because currently the police can just put drugs in your pocket. The police can take you in if they don't like you. There's a lot of racial profiling, just not for black people, for people from South republics of the Soviet Union. Police tortures people. It's not usually kills people on the street.
Okay.
It just tortures them in their own offices.
Wow. What do you think, like, if you were gonna name the top 3 social issues facing Russian residents right now?
So I think economy, government stagnation, and home abuse. I don't know. Some people put torture up there, and the police reform as a whole.
I'm curious too, like, so with the Black Lives Matter movement, did that look like going on Telegram, let's say, and all of a sudden everyone's being like a lot more political as a result of the Black Lives Matter movement at all?
No, first off, Constitution takes priority. We pretty much talk about the Constitution, the vote that happened last week. Black Lives Matter for us, it's mostly battles. So BLM, it's not our thing really.
Very interesting. What is your view of Donald Trump?
I don't get him. I don't understand what he gets from being in office. It doesn't look like his life is easier and more fulfilling since he started his position. And I think that to have him as a leader would embarrass me. Not because he's a bad leader. From my place, I cannot judge if he's a bad or a good leader. I know that everybody, like on my political side, says that he's bad, but I haven't really read about him in depth, and I usually want to do that myself before I have an opinion. But he's just so embarrassing, like a drunk uncle.
Tell me real quick about your healthcare.
I think it's okay. It's free. It's not on the scientific edge, but you can, if you break a leg, you can get it fixed for free anytime. Okay. Just not with the best materials. Everybody is insured in government healthcare system.
Okay, and then my last question. First of all, it's been so wonderful hearing from you.
It was wonderful talking to you.
I really appreciate you. You're just like a wealth of info, and I've learned so much, and it's been great to just like have it straight from the source. It's wonderful. Yes, right back at you. So I want to end with something uplifting, because I know like a lot of these topics are heavy. So just like tell me something that you've maybe learned about yourself, or like a takeaway, like a bright side, a silver lining of everything that's happened this year.
So the bright side for me is that I started working from home. I pretty much liked it. Plus I got a bike, and I've started biking lately. Yesterday, me and my husband, we did pretty much 30 kilometers. I think it's around 20-25 miles. I'm not good doing this in my head. I like cross stitching. I found out that it helps me to cross stitch while I'm in conference on my work, and nobody can see me do it. And also, I've connected a lot with my friends from Moscow, and that one friend from Germany. It's also very nice. Probably there are some other small things. There were a lot of great small things and bad big things.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Have a wonderful day. I really appreciate you.
It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good one.